presenters, and happy to be here. Kim, your turn.
Hello, my name is Kim Laney. I'm also happy to be here. I've been a member for about 10 or 11 months now, and I'm in Southern California, and it's really hot. And back to you.
Thank you, Kim. Joni, hello.
Joni Laidlaw here in Jamaica, also very hot. If you hear noise in the background, it's probably my fan. Just disregard it because I've learned not to hear it anymore. It's on all the time. Thank you, Carly.
Thank you, Joni. Trisha, our Toastmaster of the day.
Good morning. Good evening. I'm Trisha. Sorry for my absence for so long. It's good to see everybody. I've been with Toastmasters online presenters for a few years now, coming up to my anniversary. This fall. Yahoo! I think is it 3 years now? I think so. I'm a little behind, but yeah, good to be here. I am Toastmaster of the day today. First time for that role.
Good to see you, Trisha. Kim.
I think I already spoke, but I do have a question for Trisha. Trisha, what is the theme of the day and the word of the day?
Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. I did see that online. The theme and the word of the day, I thought that was posted on the site. No, I don't
Not
see
that I saw.
it. I can come up with
I don't
one.
think it was because it was supposed to be a speech-a-thon.
Ah, okay.
So I don't think we have one today.
Oh, my bad then. I actually thought that we
How
do.
about autumn? Yeah, that's a good one. How about autumn? Time for school. That as our theme, at least. That's a logical theme, right?
I like it.
Great.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Trisha. Graham, hello.
Hello, and I got to say, I love all the accents around here. You've all got accents, I don't. No, seriously, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. It is a magnificent day here in Brisbane, Australia. Well, a little cool still because we're in our, well, early spring, I suppose, but it's still cool. Whereas I know many of you are hot, but that's all right. I don't have any fans, but I've never had any fans anyway. Yes, so. There you go.
Thank you, Graham. Rick, how are you? How are you today?
I am very good. Thank you for asking. And I am Rick Durling. I have been with Online Presenters for, I think, 2 years now. I enjoy the meetings every time. There's always something interesting that happens or gets discussed. And I am looking forward to tonight's meeting. And the temperatures here in the Michigan area are supposed to get cool later this evening, which I am looking forward to. Back to you.
Thank you, Rick. Angela, hello.
Hello, everybody. Angela Heath here in College Park, Maryland. I've been a Toastmaster for probably a total of 7 years and back the last 2 years. And actually this month is my 2-year anniversary with Online Presenters. Looking forward to tonight, and I am evaluating. I don't know if we got all of the speakers, but I think
Joni.
Just one. I know Joni, but
we have three. We have three.
There's three. Okay. Well, I'm evaluator number 3.
We have 3 speakers, and if you have not put your title with your name, please put it in front of your name.
Will do.
Angela, you
Back
will
to you,
evaluate
Carolina.
Joni. Angela, you will evaluate Joni.
Yes.
Great. Marianne, hello.
Why, good evening. I am very happy to be here today, and I have signed up at the last minute when there weren't as many speakers as we thought. I took myself off evaluator and made myself table topics master. So I have some questions for you tonight, and I am looking forward to hearing from anybody who may not be speaking tonight, and maybe some who are. Back to you.
Thank you, Marianne. And I think we have a guest. We have a guest. Ashley, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. Yes, yes. I was a guest here before and I had a great time. It's a wonderful time with the time zones and everything. I'm in Portland, Oregon right now, and I'd love to watch again your guys' meeting.
Thank you. Welcome, Ashley, again. We have David. Hello, David.
Hey, I'm David Carr. I was one of the instigators of this club back in 2017. We just passed our 5-year anniversary, and I am the VP of Education this evening. You'll hear a little bit more from me later.
Thank you, David. Carol. Hello.
Hello there. I am an evaluator this evening. I'm coming to you from Pasadena, California. So we're still in our work day here. But now I couldn't get the agenda from the website, but from what I can tell, I'm evaluating Natasha. Is that correct?
Pamela.
Who was sorry? What was that?
Pamela? Pamela Benjamin?
Pamela? Okay.
Pamela, yes.
All right. I didn't see her on the list as a speaker. All right. Okay, fine. I'm glad I
Pamela
asked.
is the first speaker.
Okay.
Things changed.
Thank you, Carol. Pamela, hello. How are you?
Hi, how are you, Carolina?
Very well.
I'm in Dallas, Texas. I've been a Toastmaster since 2013, and I've been an online presenter for, I think, 2 years, almost 2 years.
Awesome. Thank you, Pamela. And we have Lou. Welcome, Lou.
Thank you, Carolina. Hello, everyone. Lou Brown here from Chicago. I'm looking to see if we have any guests here. Oh, but nice to see some folks I haven't seen in a while. Toastmaster since 2007 and member of this club from the start. What was that, March of 2017 or so? Back to you.
Thank you, Lou. And we have Nick Lacani. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Carolina. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Nick from Manchester in England, and we have got Florida weather. It's like being next to Jim and David and everybody. Great to see you all. Flying visit and miss you all. And I'm going to really enjoy today's meeting for at least half an hour, 45 minutes. I'm here. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Dr. Karen Hall, are you there? Hello.
Down, Karen.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I've been part of Toastmasters since, well, for many years, about years, and been a member of this club for a year and a half, and soon to be member of Nick's club, as in 2 weeks. Yeah, I will be in attendance as well. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. I think that we are ready with introductions. We are ready to start the meeting. Are you ready?
Ready,
Yes.
if that's back to me. I'm Tricia Smith. I am the Toastmaster of the day, the night. So welcome, everyone. It's good to see everybody in the meeting. Lots of familiar faces and new ones. Everybody just introduced themselves. We do have 3 speakers tonight, and it was already mentioned, and I'm going to mention them again. Pamela Benjamin is going to be evaluated by Carl Walsh, and Joni Laidlaw is going to be evaluated by Angela Heath, and Graham Cairns is going to be evaluated by Carolina Ramirez. Now, I assume I'm going to be doing the introductions to those speeches. So Pamela has a 7-minute speech, max of 7 minutes, and Joni has also a 7-minute speech. When we get to Graham, he has about a 15-minute time allotment. So his speech is going to be a little more extensive, just so everybody's prepared for that. We do have table topics as well. So let's talk about that. Our table topics master, that is Marianne Grady. Can you please explain your role?
As table topics master tonight, I'll be helping everybody with their impromptu speaking skills. I'll ask a question. You have 1 to 2 minutes to respond, and you can take it in any direction you'd like. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And do we have the tip of the night tonight? So are we still doing that? And that's David Carr. Can you just talk about our topic for that?
I was going to be showing off a newsletter tool that's available to Toastmasters in particular, other people as well. But so we normally do that before the speeches, so we can come back to that in just a moment.
Thank you. I'm not necessarily doing this in the order, am I? I apologize. So yeah, the Toastmasters, we start with the tip of the day with David Carr. And David, you're also doing the timer. Can you please explain that?
So I will be showing the colored lights. In fact, my face might just go away because you don't need to look at me. You need to know what the timing signals are. And so for the speeches, assuming that they're 5 to 7 minutes, tell me if there are exceptions. You'll see green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7. And then you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. For the table topics, it'll be 1 minute, 1:30, and 2. And then for evaluations, it'll be 2 minutes, 2:30, and 3.
Thank you so much. So Graham Cairns is our third speaker. He does have 15 minutes for his speech, just so you know.
Right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And the vote counter, Donna, welcome. Can you explain your role, please?
We have 21 people online, but only one person is going to win the best speaker, one person best evaluator, one person best table topics master. Speaker, how do I know? I'm going to count all the votes you send in. So look for my name, post it. I will send you a link. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much. Is everybody hearing me okay? I tend to be soft-spoken. I apologize. All right, so we just talked about the speakers and the other roles and the table topics. We do have the timer, we talked about that, and evaluators. So we do have 3 evaluators. They will be evaluating the speakers. So I think we're ready to get started with our tip of the day. And I will hand it off to David Carr.
All right. Thank you very much. And I'll time myself because I'm supposed to keep this to under 5 minutes. Should be able to do it because I did a recorded version of this that was under 5 minutes, but I'll try not to blather on. What I wanted to show you is an email newsletter tool that is built into our site and built into other websites. This is the District 62 website that is hosted on the same Toastmasters platform that we use for online presenters. And this is an example of just a mock-up of an email newsletter for them. They're going to start using this regularly. We've sort of built it into the deal for them for this coming year. And so what this is allowing you to use the same techniques that you use to compose a blog post or set up a web page to set up an email message. And so this was actually based on a blog post that was on their site. It has a YouTube video embedded in it. And it's interesting, the email has evolved to be more of an HTML-based medium. It's the same formatting language that we use on the web, but not everything works exactly the same way. So I can't just put the same code for a YouTube embed in an email and send that out because Gmail will choke on it and Outlook will choke on it. They'll say this is illegal code for email. So some of these things have to be adjusted along the way. And so when I look at this in this template for email messages, it shows up as a still image and I can click there to go to see the YouTube video. So it's just a different way of representing the same stuff. And I've figured out over the years different ways of adjusting this. So this is a special template that the content is being displayed in. It gives me the option to send an email to myself, to send to all website members, or to send to an email list. So this district has a list of several thousand people that it can send out messages to. We ourselves have a list of several hundred people, because when people register to attend as a guest, we ask them, do you want to be on our email list? And at one point, some of you may remember, I talked about a tool called Mail Poet, which was also WordPress based, but it turned out to be kind of an awkward match for what we wanted to do for reasons I won't go into. But I sent you all a message the other day saying that there would be a newsletter tool demo at this meeting, and this is how this was set up. And so it has some text that's broken into columns. It has a video embedded. And then this down here actually is a widget that is just listing all the most recent blog posts in the category of workshop replays. So it's pulling in content from the blog. Or I can send out, let's see, I want to make that be multiple recent replays, and it will list them all out. And so this is what I sent out the other day. And I can see by looking at a report in here how many people clicked on a link from that email. About 126 people opened it. So that's not too bad for the size of the list. And I have done some experiments with sending out to lists of several thousand people. So one of the little breakthroughs here is I used to have something like this capability, but you had to be able to do HTML coding to set one of these templates up. And now I have it so that you can format your template for your emails in the WordPress editor. And it uses the same colors that are in the theme. So all the Toastmasters themes have the WordPress, not the WordPress, the Toastmasters approved brand colors baked in here. So this is Loyal Blue, but I could change that to be True Maroon or Happy Yellow. Actually, I was told that Happy Yellow is supposed to be an accent color, so I shouldn't use that as the dominant one. But still, Toastmasters branded images built in here, or colors built in here. It is also possible, this is one that uses, it has a background color, but it actually has a background image specified. So you can do some fancier things like that too. This is something that I'm just introducing to folks. And if you run a club website or want to run a club website, I hope you'll think of this as one of the things that you should explore. And I'm in the red, so I will stop. Back to you, Tricia.
Thank you very much. That is awesome, awesome information. Can we get a link in the chat box too, maybe? That would be great. You always have great resources. Thank you for all you do. All right, let's continue on. It is a little before 7, so we usually start exactly at 7, so we have about 6 minutes. If you want me to fill that time up before the speakers start, or can we go ahead and get our speakers started, especially since Graham has a longer speech, we probably should just go ahead and move forward, right?
Go
We
ahead,
actually
start.
start at
All
quarter
right.
to the hour.
Okay, thank you. All right, speaker number 1, she's on the platform. I'm going to introduce Pamela Benjamin. She is working on strategic relationships level 3, increasing knowledge, creating effective visual aids. Pamela, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Trish. When we are working with different technology, you'll see that some things become very, very popular very, very quickly. I want to talk to you about a trend that I've seen and a trend that will continue. You all know I like to talk about fitness. Tonight, I want to talk about fitness apps. And if you're looking to get fit, how these apps can help you, and what's really driving the accelerated growth in them. If you go to your phone, the Google Store, if you go to Apple and download, just type in some sort of fitness activity, you will come up and there will be many different apps. There will be plethora of different types of things you can try. And you probably won't even be able to look at all of them in one sitting. That's how many different apps there are available. And I want to tell you that the large quantity, we're going to get even more apps. That is what's projected in the fitness app market. The fitness app market just in the United States is estimated to be 1.1 billion in 2002. 1.1 billion just in fitness apps. And that number is projected to increase by about 17 to 18% annually till 2030. So what? Why is this happening? How can you benefit from it? Why do you think it's happening? There's been a lot of change in the world in the last several years with COVID and many other things. One of the reasons that's really driving the increase in fitness are the medical cost. And these medical costs, there is not always a direct connection between not taking care of yourself and a fitness app. But as more and more people start using them, you will see an effect on these different costs. That is what research is telling us right now. This is a view of all the different tools. And you will see that the large purple are the smartphones. The tablets is that skinny little one there, and wearable devices. Wearable devices wasn't so big recently, but with Fitbit, when Fitbit kind of started, was the pioneer of that, we've gotten more and more. Apple Watch started, and the watches just keep getting better and better. So how does this help you? Well, there's free fitness apps on your phone, on your computer, and also available for your smartwatches. Different ones are available for a Garmin. Garmin is its own proprietary system, and Apple it uses a lot of different types of apps. I want to tell you about my favorite app, Strava. Now, Strava is primarily a fitness. It started as a running app. Mostly we're keeping track of different things. But what I really like about it is they have a free account, and it takes all of your fitness activity and it brings it all together. So if you like cycling, if you like running, if you go to the gym, you can keep track of all those different things. I have several different apps, and they all roll into Strava. And so I can see my numbers across the boards and keep track of that. The biggest advantage for using a tool like Strava would be that you get clean data. I started with fitness apps with Runkeeper, and Runkeeper started having problems with their data. Their data was getting messed up. Your runs would not sync correctly, and the times were off. And the one thing that you really get from these apps is clean data. Now, these Strava and many others, there's a lot of different others, but I like Strava because it's so dependable. Strava connects with different types of tools. You'll see this two different types of phones and two different types of watches. One of the trends we're seeing, you saw that tiny sliver piece for iPads, but the one part that we're seeing is wearable technology is the top fitness trend in 2020. And that is because I have a quote from the past president of the American College of Sports Medicine. These tech advances help collect health information. and they develop healthy lifestyles. Now, I know that seems like a no-brainer, right? But if you find some apps that work well for you, and then you are able to look at the data and make wise choices and are encouraged to keep being fit, you will make wise choices and have better lifestyles. And I want to encourage you to try some of these free apps. Strava is one of my favorite, but there's so many out there. There are several that are very similar to Strava, but the reason I like it is because of its data. It has clean, simple data. So get out there, download a couple apps, see what you think, and let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is so valuable. We all need that information nowadays. I've used a few different apps myself in the past, and I like the free ones especially. So I definitely made a note of that. Thank you for that. All right, we're going to go ahead and go through the speakers first for the presentations, and then we will follow up with the evaluations. Speaker 2 is on the platform. That is Joni-Renee Laidlaw. You are on the floor. Speaker 2, her presentation is on Presentation Mastery Level 1, Mastering Fundamentals, Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language, emphasis on vocal variety.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desire will come to you. I'm mad at Disney, 'cause they tricked me, had me wishing on a shooting star. Who doesn't know Aria? I mean, up where they walk, out where they run. What do you call it? Eat. But personally, I'm Jamaican. I sound more like, well, Sebastian, 'cause under the sea, right? But how about in a Disney movie when the prince goes, well, when will I see you again? And Cinderella responds, oh, never, never. I've never been the type to be able to particularly speak like that. Or for that matter, Dorothy, when she got lost, the only voice I heard similar to how I spoke was actually the man behind the curtain when he said, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. But I was expected to sound like, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Well, when I was younger, it made sense because Thumper, which I still don't know if it's a boy or a girl, would say, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. Now, that was a mantra I was trained on. And again, I didn't know if Thumper was a boy or a girl, but at his age, that was exactly how I sounded and the philosophy that I kept. So I would believe that that's what you're supposed to sound like. But life is not a Disney movie. This is not a Disney movie. What did I find as my issue when it came to vocal variety? Well, I found that what I was expected to sound like was never what I sounded like. I mean, after all, I could put on the voice, I could speak like this and be happy and cheery. But the Jamaican in me would not have it, I'm sorry. Because if me talk about something and if me feel it, it was not going to come out happy and cheery. For those who don't understand what I'm saying, because I know you all have accents. Yes, girl, I stole that. I loved that line. Well, for all of those in autumn right now, while I am dying in the summer, let me translate for you. When I have something to say, when I feel passion and it touches my soul, and mostly because my culture has a strong personality, it doesn't always come out happy and cheery. Sometimes it comes out with the force of what I feel. Now, when I was taught I should sound like Fiona, or was it Fiona? I mean, in making the choice, was I a princess or was I an ogre? Well, I found in time that I prefer to be somewhere in the middle. There's always a time when you're singing to birds and you're on your path and your adventure when la 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 is needed. I mean, after all, people always underestimate you when you're happy and perky. But there's also the time when the ogre has to come out. When you need to tell people exactly where they need to step, when they need to step, and how they need to step. Especially during COVID. I mean, after all, if I said to everybody, can you please stay 6 feet away from me and not touch me? I don't want to catch it. I don't think it will come off as effective as, you need to move and move now. Simply put, life is not a Disney movie. And believing that for all of my existence, there is only one way that I can talk, bring across my point and bring across my personality, left me feeling a bit off. But what have I found? I found that sometimes in translating what I mean from, boy, I mean, I understand what you say right now, you know, kind of make no sense, to, I really don't understand what you're saying. It doesn't just change the words, it changes how it's said as well. It changes the context, the connotation, and the force with which it's said. So while I can understand that, naturally, I might be more that version of Fiona. There's times when it's not a Disney movie that it's best to be that one. Back to your Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Joni. You are so talented. Definitely kept my attention. Appreciate it. Our third and final speaker for tonight, drum roll, Mr. Graham Cairns. This is based on Presentation Mastery Level 4, Building Skills Managing a Difficult Audience. What we learned from Toastmasters committee process. The speech can be up to 15 minutes. Thank you, Graham. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. And I notice a number of guests, which is really good to see. So you're going to get to see behind the curtain tonight. And I do apologize. I was once told that if you ever saw how sausages are manufactured, you would never eat them. Well, I'm not sure that's true because I know how sausages are manufactured and I still eat them anyway. But we are going to look at the process. Before I begin, I need a show of hands if I can. Who here has been on a Toastmasters Club committee, either currently or in the past? Yeah, most of us have. Who here regrets having served on a Toastmaster Club committee? A couple of sort of, yeah, maybe. The thing is about serving on a Toastmasters Club committee is that I once heard the definition of a Toastmasters Club committee is the 7 people who are least able to run or say no, because we're all pressured into taking on the role. We shouldn't be. We should be taking on the role because we want to take on the role, because we want to learn, we want to grow, we want to develop, we want to become better communicators, better leaders, better speakers, better people. But we all have to be pushed into the role because it can be a pain in the neck. Well, what I'm going to talk about today is the Toastmasters committee process, where it is flawed and where we can improve upon it. So first, how many members are there on a Toastmasters committee? In a good club, in an effective club, how many members are there on a Toastmasters committee? Open your mic, tell me.
8.
Before you move on with that, I just want to say, are you saying that I can actually go ahead and say I changed my mind, I no longer want to be on this committee?
We'll talk about that a little later, because the choice that we make is one of those continuing processes. So yes, good question, Kim, and we'll get back to that one a little later. At least I hope so. So I heard one answer was somebody said 7, one answer somebody said 8. Is that correct? Anybody got any other answers of how many people there should be on a Toastmasters committee?
3.
Sorry, Donna, that was how many?
3.
3. Well, you need to have 3. In fact, you are required to have 3. You have to have, under Toastmasters International rules, you have to have a president, one of the vice presidents, doesn't even have to be the vice president of education, and a secretary, and they have to be different people. You can't be president and vice president of education and secretary and be the committee entirely unto yourself. So 3 is the minimum number. The usual number that we talk about is 7. We have the president, the vice president education, vice president membership, vice president public relations, secretary, treasurer, and sergeant at arms. But there is one other member where we should encourage contributions to the committee, and that's the immediate past president. They are actually a member of your committee, and they're the ones who know where the bodies are buried. Quite possibly because they were the ones who did the burying, but they should always be involved if you can in your committee. Now, currently I am in a club where my vision for the club, and I'm president of that club, by the way, my vision for the club and the immediate past president's vision for the club are dipoles, diametrically opposed to each other. How do you reckon that's going? Well, it's actually
maybe it's going as good as it's going in my little club. You talk about these big committees, and I barely have enough people to have a club open. We almost folded last year. So I don't know what you're talking about when you're talking about having all these people in disagreement. We barely have people to, agree on anything. So I'm really, that's not for me, Graham.
All right, can I make a suggestion to you, Marianne? And again, this is not really the time for this, but I will suggest that there is a project, level 3 of a couple of PARs, which allows you to work with conflict and how to deal with conflict and how to reach a consensus. You may never reach an agreement with your committee. I will never reach an agreement with my immediate past president, but we have been able to build a consensus, and we are building a consensus for the club. So, where was I? Oh, yes. So we're talking about making sure that everybody gets a chance to say. Now, in the case of a really small club, it's sometimes difficult because you don't have, you may only have 7 members in the club. Well, in that case, you're not a club in good standing, so you need to get somebody else. But you may only have 8 or 10 members and you can't get all 8 positions filled. Do what you can under those circumstances and then work out a way around it. Kim, you have a hand up. Yes.
I do. So I want to interrupt you one more time and say that what you said really made me start wondering about Nick. Nick, do you have any bones in the closet you want to confess?
Plenty. It'll take too long, even longer than Graham's speech.
All right. We might actually ask Nick later, not during.
That's why you've got 10 less people in the room, by the way.
There's 10 less people in the room because you're here, Nick?
No, because I did a good job in cutting them off at the knees. Let's put it like that.
Oh, I see. So you cut the people off at the knees, and that works really well. That's really kind of cool.
Yeah, they can't
Hey,
reach the
Kim,
screen then,
I'm really
can they?
curious where you were
Guys,
going
guys,
with
Yeah,
where you
how
were going.
Toastmaster
Hey
will
guys,
do.
can I ask if we can try to keep some of the cross chatter down, because look, there's some vital arguments that are being here.
This
and
is more fun.
This is a
yeah,
lot
maybe,
the more interesting. I'm getting information from Nick that's really useful to me.
Good, but can we talk about this after this? Because I'm going to run out of time, and you want to hear me, don't you? I know.
No, I have to go to work.
My learned colleague, I really want to hear from both of you.
Oh, good, good. All right. Seriously.
Actually, I want to know why we have to follow Toastmaster rules. Why don't we just get the darn thing done?
Now there's a really interesting question, folks, and there's a really good reason for it. We're not members of Agora, which is a rival public speaking organization. We're not members of Learn to Speak. We're not members of Dale Carnegie. We're not members of Rostrum. We are members of Toastmasters.
How do I get in touch with this Agora thing? That sounds kind of interesting.
Debate.
Can I actually ask the Sergeant at Arms if you can mute everybody, please, just for the moment, so that we will have an opportunity for questions a little later.
Wait a minute, Tricia told me that I could ask questions during this session.
Yes, you can, but can there will be. Now that everybody has been muted, thank you very much for that, Madam Sergeant at Arms, for doing that for me. So, am I still muted? It says I'm still muted. Oh, that should be working for me now, I hope. All right, so the thing, stop laughing at me, people. We are members of Toastmasters International, and one of the things that we agreed to when we joined Toastmasters, there was a series of, I think it's 10 promises that we made, and one of those promises that we made to the club when we first joined, that we would act as leaders when called upon to do so. That's why sometimes we feel pressured into the role. But there are so many benefits to be gained from being a leader in Toastmasters. Every role that we do has a reflection in the bigger world. If we are the president, it's effectively the same role as the chief executive officer. It's not the same role as anything else. Your job, if you're doing your job right as president, is the easiest job in Toastmasters, because you just help guide everybody else and they do all the work. If you're the sergeant at arms, you're learning about logistics, you're learning about organizational skills. If you're the secretary, administrivia is boring, 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 but it keeps the wheels of industry grinding on. And so if you want to help keep the wheels of industry grinding on, if you want to keep your job, learning about administrivia is sometimes a really useful skill. Vice president for marketing. We all like to do a bit of public relations, whether it's promoting our organization, promoting our business, promoting ourselves. They're all skills that you learn in these various roles. So it's not the time of year where I'm going to try and push you into joining the committee because, well, quite frankly, we don't need a new committee for another 8 months or thereabouts. But it is the time of year where I'd like to ask you to think about how you can benefit from standing on your Toastmasters Club committee. Not necessarily this club, although obviously this club could really use your skills, and the fact that you are here means that you like this club, but in your other clubs, assuming that you're a member of another club. Ask not what Toastmasters can do for you, but ask what you can do for Toastmasters, because when you do something for Toastmasters, Toastmasters does stuff for you as well. That's the Toastmaster committee process. Remember the promise that we made when we joined. Remember that there are benefits to be had. That's the what's in it for me moment. And well, quite frankly, we really, 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 really need you to stand up and be a leader. You really, 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 really need to stand up and be a leader as well. Toastmaster.
Excellent. Loved it. I was going to put in the comment chat box how I loved your comment asking not what Toastmasters can do for you, but what you can do for Toastmasters. It's reciprocated, right? You had everybody laughing. It was a joy to listen to your speech, and there's a lot in the chat box for comments as well. So kudos on that. Good job. We are going to move on to the topic, table topics by Marianne Grady. So I will give the floor to her, and then we will move on to the general evaluator and the evaluations afterwards. Marianne.
Trish, how long do we have now? For like 3?
We have 3 evaluators.
No. Do I have enough time for 3 or?
Oh, I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'll
Mhm.
check in with you after 3 and see if we need any more.
All right, thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. Mary Ann Grady here, and tonight I'm your table topics master. This month, the month of August, is my birthday month. And though my birthday is at the end of the month, I decided, since I won't be at the meeting then, that I would ask birthday questions. So I am going to call upon you. You have 1 to 2 minutes to respond, and I can't wait to learn about your birthday favorite things. So I am going to start with, let's see, Nick. Hi, it's been such a long time. What do you
Hi there.
like most about your birthday, Nick?
Well, my last birthday, the thing I liked most was that I didn't overeat. In fact, I didn't eat much, and I barely had a drink, which was great actually, because what I didn't realize was I was actually coming down with something, not COVID, but something else. And that day was a few days before my kids' exam, so I didn't even see them, thankfully. Otherwise, that would have been a problem. What I loved about my birthday was we went into the center of town. We didn't eat, we didn't drink, we just walked with the wonderful weekend that we had, the weather, and it just so happened that the whole of the United Kingdom had a 4-day holiday for my birthday. And I don't know, there was an anniversary or coronation or something, I don't know, some royal thing going on as well at the same time. But people came out and they were playing music in the streets, having street parties. Can you imagine that? How many of you had street parties for your birthday? Not many hands going up. Now, what they also did, they were waving little Union Jacks or Union flags, as they're properly called, and there were people having fun. How many birthdays have you had where that's happened? Yes, not many, right? No, I really loved that day because we kept it simple, kept it quiet, and we kept it neat. And I didn't spread many germs, only to my wife. But hey, that's okay. Now, what are you going to do for your birthday? What are you planning? And is there a surprise birthday that perhaps somebody is planning for you? I'm going to surprise birthday party tomorrow for a friend of mine, and he has no clue where we come, what we're doing or where we're going. He doesn't even know we're going to be there. Would you like a surprise? Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Why, thank you, Mr. Lacani. So nice to see you back. Next, I am going to call upon one of our guests, Ashley. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you.
Can you tell me what was the best birthday present you ever received?
Wow, the best birthday present I received. I've had quite a few birthdays in my lifetime, a lot of different kinds of birthdays, different trips, different parties, even a Toastmaster birthday party that I once threw for myself. That was a lot of fun. If I were to think about a gift that I got for my birthday, one that just immediately pops to my mind is, it was when I turned 30, my partner took me out to Las Vegas. And that was so fun because our relationship was new and I like to dress up. Everybody in Las Vegas likes to dress up. It was just really exciting to go out and enjoy the abundance and just kind of excitement of Las Vegas. It was really special because we had just been going out for 2 weeks. So just to be with someone I care about and have all this hope and promise made a really special birthday. And I'm really excited that that same person who happens to be a Toastmaster will come out to where I'm house sitting in Portland and see me here. And we've been happy Toastmasters and Toastmistresses for 4 years now.
Well, that's all well and good, Ashley, but you broke the cardinal rule. What happens in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas. Come on. All right, thank you for that table topic. Next, Andrei Smolenko. Can you tell us what was your earliest birthday memory?
What an amazing question, Madam Table Topics Master. One of the first birthday memories, I'm not sure if I can tell you or supposed to keep it for my mom and dad. At the same time, probably I share it with you. Hey, let's go for it. There is the common misconception that most of the children born in Russia and Ukraine, and the first thing they receive as soon as they come out from their mom is a very little bottle of vodka. Some people still believe it's true. Instead of mommy's milk, instead of skin-to-skin contact, everyone, including little girls, are nominated with the little one, only so dummy on top. And then gradually we start drinking more and more and more. And now, as you can see, I'm 43 and I'm still capable of explaining what happened 43 years ago. So probably it wasn't that bad. But in my earliest memory, I could still remember my mom's milk. That probably explains, how my dad protected me at that time. He probably decided enough is enough. My son not gonna go my path, and he will turn into a normal human being. Maybe that's why later on I joined Toastmasters, trying to talk about my earliest memories, common misconceptions about Russians and Ukrainians, and just bring it to the open, to the world. Mom and dad, please forgive me for sharing that secret. Hey, it's all out now. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Who knew? Vodka. I like it. I like it. That sounds good to me. Madam Toastmaster, do we have any more time?
We are at 8:27 Eastern Standard Time. I believe so. I'm thinking we
Okay.
could probably do maybe a couple more. But
Okay.
how many, Andrew? How many do you think? I'll let Andrew tell us. Can't hear you.
I think we're good for a couple more.
Yeah, at least a couple more, right? Maybe 3 more, Marianne?
Okay, whatever
Give
you
it a
need.
try.
For our guest, Jason, can you tell us whether you think money is a good birthday gift?
Okay, at my age, which is currently 18, I would say money is not that useful for me because currently I'm not working. So I don't know the importance of money. So at this age, at this moment, if you were to ask me, what is the most things that I would like to receive when I'm birthday? The answer is definitely not money. But instead, I would say maybe it's love, because by now I'm studying abroad. I mean, not abroad, but study at KL, which is definitely far from my hometown. So what I miss is that my parents. So perhaps that I could celebrate my birthday with my parents or with my loved one, which that I love. So once again, if you were to ask me, what is the most important things that I like for my birthday? The answer is definitely not money, because money is not important for me. So love is what I want. I hope that on my next birthday, I could have the companions with my parents and with my loved ones. Besides, heart is needed. And I hope that everyone as well could have birthday with their loved ones and with their parents. That's all from me.
That was a super sweet answer. I love that, Jason. And I hope you get what you want. Next up, let's see. How about Andy Byrne? Andy, can you tell us what you would like to accomplish before your next birthday?
Before my next birthday, I would like to accomplish fun with my family and to be pain-free. For the last several years, I've been having some medical issues that have generated a lot of body pain. And unlike Spock, I've had to learn how to essentially forget the fact that the pain was there and just continue forward. But it's starting to get a little bit intense, and I'm working on that. But that would be one thing that I would work on. The second thing I would work on is being able to master some new languages. And I'm talking about computer languages. There are lots of applications coming out that I have a real interest in, and it takes a long time to learn them, almost as much time as it takes to learn a foreign speaking language. So I'd like to master some of those as well. And then I'd like to have some time to myself. Try to relax and sleep at least 7 hours a night. It's important to sleep 7 hours a night because if you don't, the risk of having heart attack, diabetes, heart failure, and lung problems is increased immeasurably, because sleep is during that time in their circadian rhythm pattern where you do physiologic and mental repair. You don't have enough sleep, you'll wind up having mental issues as well as physical issues. Those are the things I like to accomplish.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You have a long list. You better get busy, man. All right. Next, I would like to ask Rick Sterling. Rick, what's your favorite kind of birthday cake? Chocolate, vanilla, ice cream, cheesecake. There's so many options.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not going to start with a bottle of scotch. I am, in fact, going to start with German chocolate cake. That has been one of my favorite things for birthdays forever, particularly when my mother would make it from scratch, all the way from the cake batter to the frosting to, I think at times, even making the candles, believe it or not. As I got older, though, I discovered I had a love for banana nut bread, and that became an absolutely outstanding birthday cake as well. So quite honestly, this is not entirely the easiest question to answer because there are so many options out there. I think it's sufficient to make the remark that as long as there is chocolate involved, ice cream, lots of laughter, lots of fun, and a group of friends and family gathered to celebrate yet another journey around the sun for myself, I'm an extremely happy camper. Back to you.
Wow, thank you. And for me, it's a carrot cake with lots of raisins and cream cheese icing. My daughter makes it for me. It's like yum. And I'm going to be in Florida near my birthday, so I might get some. Okay, now I think we're done, right, Tricia?
Yeah, I think we need to move on. Thank you so much.
Okay, back to you.
All right, let's move on. I've put the table topic presenters in the chat box, so we'll get the prompt for voting on those. And next, we are going to move on to the next portion of the meeting. I'm going to introduce the general evaluator, who is Kim Lemming, right? Yes. So I will introduce her. She has the floor and she will take over the rest of the meeting for the general evaluator. I'm sorry, the evaluators for the speakers.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Tricia Smith, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. As Tricia mentioned, my name is Kim Leeming, and it is my pleasure to be your general evaluator for tonight. What an awesome evening we're having. We are now entering the educational part of the meeting. A big reason for why online presenters is so successful in transforming speakers into even more confident and competent speakers is the wonderful and actionable feedback each speaker receives from their evaluators. With this feedback, the speakers and everyone else watching can use this input to improve their speaking capabilities and in turn bring more value to their audiences. Tonight, my role is divided into two parts. One is to introduce the evaluators for the prepared speeches, and two is to give my general evaluation of the overall meeting. Before we start with evaluations, could I please ask the timer for today, David Carr, to remind us for the timing requirements for the evaluator speeches. Take it away, David.
Hey, so that will be 2 to 3 minutes. Green at 2, yellow at 2:30, And right at 3.
Thank you, David. Our first evaluator today is Carl Walsh. He will be evaluating speaker number 1, Pamela Benjamin. Please welcome Carl.
Thank you, Kim. Now, Pamela's presentation was mostly focused on creating visual aids and doing a presentation with technology. Before I get into that, I just want to say that you do a lot of speaking about tracking here. In fact, almost the whole thing is about tracking. And you did a very nice job on that. The only thing that I would suggest there is perhaps spend a little time on the benefits of tracking and how tracking can alter your behavior, which is certainly true of me, and I think it's true of most people. So let's get into the presentation part. Now, I notice you're using Prezi. That's great. I find Prezi to be a wonderful tool. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, make some suggestions, though these are personal issues on how you use Prezi. To begin with, Prezi, you can use a background, but it's generally better not to when you're using it. Of course, if you don't, like I'm not using any sort of background at the moment, that's pretty boring, right? So what you can do with Prezi is bring up a logo, your speech topic, anything that you want. And the great thing about Prezi that I really love is if you see, it actually comes out over you. So if there's any spill over onto your side, it's okay. And I'm going to show. So the good thing is, and you were doing this, you were sitting to the side, but you could go even further to the side. People won't mind as long as you don't ever leave them with this screen. And you come down, and that way now they can really see what you're doing. This just happens to be a presentation I'm working on. And again, if there's any kind of spillover, that's fine. It will spill over on me, and they can still see the image, and I'm not being blocked as well. I also personally prefer the template where there's just text and not a background on that text. It's just a personal favorite of mine. And then the only other thing that I would add, in the beginning, you talked about all the apps and how if you Google, you'll get a whole screen full of apps. Give us a whole screen full of apps. Show us that so that we can see exactly what you're talking about. But very good. Love to see people using Prezi. I think it's an extremely useful tool. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Carl. Thanks to Pamela for using Prezi, and thanks to Carl for the Prezi tips. I'm looking forward to learning more about it. Our second evaluator tonight is Angela Heath. She will be evaluating speaker number 2, Joni-Renee Laidlaw. Take it away, Angela.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, and Joni, when I wish upon a star. Joni, I'm mad at you. She told us why she was mad at Disney, but I'm mad at her because I can't sing, and she forced me to sing part of this evaluation. No, seriously, she was working on presentation mastery, mastering fundamentals, and introduction to vocal variety and body language, and she hit it out of the park. For those of you who are not in the US, that means she did a fantastic job. Joni, your vocal varieties were outstanding. I love the way you use video to emphasize your points. You have a lovely speaking voice, and that's why I'm mad at you. I'm jealous. The singing, talking about Disney, was perfect because most of Disney movies involved singing. And you did such a great job helping us understand why you were mad at Disney. It was nothing like we anticipated. It was all about how Disney is not representing different ways that people talk and the different ways that people can talk to get their points across. We heard your vocal variety. We saw how you used your background with the two Fionas, and you were perfectly centered in between. Most of this evaluation really was about your presentation vocals. And I can't even emphasize how great you did with that. Now, I do have one area that you must focus on, and that is your PowerPoint setup. You took several seconds setting up the PowerPoint, which is distracting. So may I suggest, Joni, that you have that running in the background. So when it's time for you to speak, you bring up the actual slide presentation, not the slide itself. That is a more professional transition that I would like you to work on. The second thing I want to challenge you, you had such a strong opening. I want you to have a powerful closing. I would have loved for you to end with some kind of song that would get us all excited and say, yes, we're mad at Disney too, because we've got to be able to use different types of speaking. Other than that, Joni, this was such a great presentation and an honor for me to evaluate you. Thank you so much for it. It was excellent. I'll give you other remarks as needed. Back to you, Tricia. I'm sorry. Back to you, Kim.
Thank you so much, Angela. And I have to say, I agree with you. I am so jealous, Joni, of the singing voice. I literally lip sync Happy Birthday. I cannot sing at all. And you had a wonderful speech and a wonderful singing voice as well. Our third evaluator for tonight is Carolina Ramirez. She will be evaluating speaker number 3, Graham Cairns. Please welcome Carolina.
Thank you very much, Kim. The purpose of this project is for Graham to practice the skills needed to address audience challenges when he presents outside of the Toastmasters club. And I want to start talking about the strategies he used to refocus the audience on his speech, focus the attention. He used phrases like, let me give you a suggestion and then back to the theme, or we'll back to your question later, or he gave advice when he had to confront the interruptions. And it worked perfectly at the beginning. But then the situation started to become more challenging. He had more interruptions, and these strategies didn't work anymore. And he was very smart, because in person is different situation, because you can apply some body language, approach the people in the audience, and use more, you have more freedom to use more strategies. But when you're online, it's very difficult, because someone is taking the screen or opening the microphone and interrupt, and the situation maybe can be out of control for the person who is presenting the speech. And I wanted to see what Graham was going to do in that situation, because it was very difficult, and he used a very smart strategy. He asked the sergeant at arms to silence the microphone. And I think that was very smart. Actually, something I was going to use in the future if I see that difficult situation, if I have to confront that situation. I think it was a very good strategy. And I muted his microphone by accident because I saw the members on the screen started to put the change the position on my screen. And he could confront that situation very well as well. He had a very professional behavior to confront the audience. He had very respectful interactions. And I think he managed the situation very well, even though he had a very difficult audience. And definitely I'm going to use those strategies because I think that when you are online, it's more difficult to silence the people, to be respectful at the same time. Congratulations, Graham, you achieved your objectives. Back to you, Kim.
You need to unmute, Kim.
Thank you, Carolina. I have to agree that Graham did handle a very difficult audience, and I feel really bad about that. I was a big part of that. Our third evaluator, no, I'm sorry. Now, could I please call on our timer, David Carr, to give us the evaluator's timers report for tonight's evaluations. Take it away, David.
Yes, I'm posting them in the chat. Everybody was within time.
Okay, thank you, David. As we heard, all of tonight's evaluators qualified for the timing for their evaluations. Thanks in advance to everyone for casting their votes now for Best Evaluator for tonight's meeting. And if you haven't yet done so, please also cast your votes for Best Speaker and Best Table Topic. It's now time for the general evaluation portion of the meeting. What a show. 3 great speakers, 3 awesome evaluators, and a very fun table topic session. The timing for our meetings is something that online presenters takes very seriously. And it looks like tonight's meeting is no exception, and it looks like it will end on time. Thanks to all for making that happen. Tonight's Toastmaster today is Tricia Smith. Tricia mentioned that this was her first time as Toastmaster of the day. What a wonderful job she did. Although I don't follow sports, I feel like Tricia was the quarterback of tonight's meeting. She called the plays by telling us what was going to happen and made for a very winning meeting. Thank you, Tricia. The table topics master of the day is Marianne Grady. Marianne, thank you so much for stepping in at the last moment and doing such a wonderful job with table topics. Typically, my response to hearing about table topics going on is to say to myself, don't pick me. Please, whatever you do, don't pick me. But with Marianne's questions tonight, I found myself wishing that I didn't have a role so I could have answered a question of hers. Great job, Marianne. As you know, tonight's speakers have already been evaluated, but I'd like to say that the quality of the speeches and the evaluations is nothing short of phenomenal. Thanks to all for a job very well done. All the speakers and the evaluators demonstrated strong body language, eye contact, and particularly vocal variety. I'd also like to say that I really like the way tonight's evaluators talked about how the speakers made them feel as they were being spoken to and what their emotional reactions were to the speeches. I think we all learn a lot when evaluations are phrased in that manner. I feel also that I must confess to Graham. I think I went a little too far when I was asked to heckle you, Graham, but you handled it like a champ. I have to say that after I heckled Graham, I felt like all of us had packed our bags and gone on a guilt trip. My favorite moment of Graham's speech, and also my most guilty moment, was when the Toastmaster today muted everyone, including Graham. So now we're on to another exciting part of the evening. Our vote counter, Donna Knight, is going to reveal the voting results for tonight's meeting. Best speaker, best evaluator, and best table topics for tonight. Please welcome Donna.
Still muted, Donna.
It's a silent movie.
It's also a wonderful way of bidding for time to have the counts in. So our congratulations to Toastmaster Graham for being the best speaker. He is followed by our guest, Jason Wu, hopefully I pronounce it, for being the best table topic speaker. And our best evaluator is Toastmaster Watch. Congratulations, everyone. We look forward to you doing more to helping others. Back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you, Donna. Congratulations to all our winners tonight. Big round of applause for everyone. And thank you for such a fun and successful meeting. With that, I'd like to pass the stage back to our Toastmaster of the day, Tricia Smith.
Thank you. And I have to compliment those certificates. I don't know how long we've been using them in the meetings, but those are awesome. I have not seen that before. So kudos and congrats to all the winners. We did not have a role for the chat box, so I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge some of the topics in the chat box. I started out giving some historical events for today, August 8th. Another one's, I got a couple of relatives with a birthday today. Some nice links here that were shared. I kind of went through several of them. David Carr shared the agenda link, so that's always good. I always have that up separate on a different tab for me that works. Rick talked about the Mackinac Bridge. Graham has is his daughter still here as a guest? Ashley,
No. I was just making a joke to Ashley that she could say hello to my daughter who lives in Portland.
Oh, sorry.
Making a joke about how small Portland is.
Thank you for clarifying that one. All right, and Pamela had some good links there if you want to capture her links for the fitness. Thank you for that. Andrew shared that most Disney films are in 20 languages, and it was shared about not asking what Toastmasters can do for you, but what you can do for Toastmasters. So I had to reiterate that as well. So just some good conversations. Let's see if I missed anything. Just some good feedback on heckling and all the participation for Graham's speech. And it definitely had people laughing. So that was entertaining. And any other comments that come through the chat box on that? Let's see who we have for guests tonight. Let's see, just a second. Let me just look. Ashley, you are a guest, right? You're a guest. Is this your first time tonight? Can you just share what your second time? Okay, maybe you've done this before. Do you want to share some feedback on your experience tonight?
Sure. I've been in my house alone all day. This was so wonderful just to have a supportive, positive group. Thank you.
Welcome. Nice to see you. All right. Jason, you're a guest. Is this your first time tonight? That was awesome that you shared with the table topics. Congratulations. Do you want to share about your experience with the meeting tonight?
Yeah, sure. So this is my first time joining Online Presenter Club, and I appreciate it. I really enjoy the vibe and everything it has. So something like the teamwork, and I can see everyone is really experienced. They are such an experienced speaker. So I really impressed. I mean, I'm impressive and I really enjoy. Yeah, that's all from me.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. I see a couple of other names. Adrian, can you help me here? What is your role? It says AD. Can you help me with that? Hi, Adrian. I don't know if I've met you before. Oh, area director. Okay, thank you. She's not new. All right. And how about Genevieve? Are you a guest? I don't see that marked that way.
Genevieve is in fact the Otter AI. That's what's taking a transcript of everything that is said in tonight's meeting and creating a text file out of it. But Adrian is a member but hasn't been here for a while. So
okay, thank you for that. All right, good to know. All right, I think at least I'm familiar with everybody else.
From Adrian, so maybe she should.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I had a background noise going on, so I couldn't answer before, but hello. I became a part of Online Presenters probably, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 years ago. And then I wasn't here for COVID, and then I'm back. So it's nice to see everybody. Thank you.
Well, thank you for all you do. All right. And Genevieve, I don't know if they wanted to share as well or able to.
They're an app.
It's an app. Ha, there we go. Learn something else, right? Who else didn't know that? Hope I wasn't the only one. Good. All right. I think that's everybody else. Everybody else is, we're all familiar. Happy Toastmasters family. Awesome. Okay, we are at 8:55. So winding down to the end of the meeting, is there anything else that anyone wants to comment about or share? Any upcoming events? Is there some training for the officers coming up? I've seen that with other groups.
Yeah, why don't you let our president have a few words?
Okay,
All right.
please do.
For those that don't know how to save the chat, on the very bottom, there are 3 dots. Those are called ellipses. And if you click on that, it will save your chat. In the chat, we have some information for upcoming meetings. We're going to be doing Moments of Truth, and we'd like your participation in writing up our club success plan. The club executive committee will be working on that, but you can have a participatory role in it as well. The other thing I'm asked quite often is, how do you get credit for serving as the Toastmaster of the Day? And that number is in the chat as well. It's 8407E is the evaluation managing an online meeting. And David talked about being able to do blogs, and there are evaluations for that as well. So those are outside perhaps of the club actual meeting, where you have an evaluator assigned when you have the role of Toastmaster of the Day, or if you go on David's new site and put blogs in and learning how to do blog, or even podcasting. There are separate evaluations for that as well. So I wanted to put that down so that you're aware of it. I wanted to give you some notice about the moments of truth and the chart on the moments of truth. And with the conflicts in speaking, I put down some references for dealing with conflicts in your communication. So all those things are in your chat area. Just save it and you'll have a ton of, as they call them, Easter eggs, where you can have things that you can take back and learn about. At this point, the answer to your training is yes. There's one training I put in for this coming Wednesday between 12 and 1 o'clock for any of the roles. And I put in some more. Training is usually completed by the end of August. And each club wants to have all 7 of their officers trained. More so than that, we'd love to have each and every member trained so they can serve as a backup for any role that's out there. If there's anything of interest to you, just sign up for those roles. I turn it back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much for that information, and for Adrienne posted the link in the chat box. That's for this Wednesday, August 10th from 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time, officers training. Any other comments on that before we end the meeting? And if there's still the after party going on, I don't know if that's still in place.
Well, we'll do that, but we want to have everybody thinking about what roles they want to play. David would probably want to have a few words about that.
Thank you.
That's an excellent idea. I hadn't gotten that far, but let's look at the lineup for next meeting.